Great.
So,
Hello.
hi, Pat.
Hello, how's it going?
Actually, very good.
Cool. Cool, very cool. There's a bit of feedback. Let me just sort this out real quick so we
Yeah.
don't get too much feedback here. Yeah, so hello everyone and welcome Christian to this version of LUKSO Live in conversation with SLEEK. Excited to have you here and excited to have a bit of a chat on what's going on in the world of SLEEK, what's going on in the world of you, and our upcoming, well, are now in the middle of year-long partnership with Universal Profiles, which is super exciting, and the vision for our collective futures and how we see this as a starting point for evolving culture and working with artists and a lot of different types of multimedia sources as well, and kind of like opening up a whole new dimension, in my opinion, is how I see it. Yeah. I just want to make sure you're not getting it. No one's getting any feedback or like uh, anything on that end. Okay, cool. Awesome. So just to give everyone a little bit of a quick intro on myself, I'm Kat Banas. I am the Director of Transformation and Creative Director at Universal Everything. I do all things creative. I work closely with the tech team and communications and help to set out strategy and alignment internally and externally as well, along with a host of a lot more as well. I come from a background, I have a few different backgrounds, and one of them is in fashion as a fashion stylist, and costume designer in New York for over 12 years. I worked with a host of people and clients from commercial to editorial to celebrities all across the board. And I am really happy to be working with SLEEK and Christian because this feels like, for me, kind of bringing both of these worlds together. And I love this, absolutely love this. And it feels like all of my love for Web3 and Universal Profiles is now really getting to a familiar place for me too. So it feels a lot like home for me too, which is fantastic. But to start this off with, Christian, I would love to hear a little bit more about yourself and your background.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Kat. I'm a little bit older than you, so my story is maybe a little bit longer. I'm from Germany, as you can hear somehow of my accent, and I studied economics many years ago, and then I moved into advertising. And advertising in a time where advertising was really amazing and big budgets. We worked with amazing directors and photographers. For example, Helmut Newton. I did once an ad campaign with Helmut many years ago here in Berlin. So I did that for a couple of years, 15 years, 16 years or so. And then I started my own business. And the own business is actually, let's say storytelling. Yeah? And by accident, my first job was to publish a magazine. And the good thing about that was it was always my pleasure. I always was a aficionado of magazines. Give me a magazine and I really lose everything around me because I'm fascinated by fantastic stories about mostly people. So by accident, I got to that. And after a few years, I had the chance actually to take over SLEEK, which was founded in 2002. And I took that over in 2008 and so. And that was my first magazine. And that's where I'm now. So I'm basically, if I'm asked quickly what you are doing, I'm a storyteller. And this storytelling, of course, comes in different channels because there are a lot now where you can amazing stories like we do now live here on X and Instagram.
Cool. Fantastic. And that's interesting. I actually have a background in business and economics too. So that's really cool that we shared. Yeah, how we both kind of went into this world of business, but then that led us into this world of storytelling, which for me, like economics, what I loved about it is it actually is storytelling. It's behavior at scale. And I think a lot of people get a little scared of it or don't, they think it means like business and numbers and markets, which it is that, but it's just like cumulative storytelling and behavior. Yeah, which is super cool. And that's interesting too for me how it ties into like understanding this world of Web3, because when you understand, like you can take the storytelling in this world and bring it into a new dynamic, a new economic dimension, like then you have like completely new paradigms for things too, which is really what excites me about this. And maybe that's what excites you about Web3 as well. So what is it exactly that you love the most about what you get to do right now with SLEEK?
You know what? Finally, I'm mid of the 50s.
Yeah.
Finally, I'm there. And because I'm not, I found out now what my genius is. And the genius is actually that I love networking and people, interesting people. And as a media person, as a storyteller, as a publisher, of course, I meet every day interesting people from different kind of industries, different kind of talents. So and that's perfect, and I can connect them again to others. And this is really when I go home in the evening, sometimes late night. I always think back and say, hey, it's fantastic. I had this amazing conversation with this person. And actually, this is really what I appreciate, actually.
Super cool. Yeah, you are a total bridge connector builder, which is fantastic. And that's ultimately what you do too with this platform as well, with SLEEK, which is super cool. And that's like really cool to hear that everything has like kind of come together in this way for you, and all the things that you love to do. So maybe what you could do is tell us, well, actually, first off, could you go ahead and lower the volume on your telephone?
Yeah, I did it actually, but it's completely down, but there's somehow an echo. Huh?
Yeah, what's happening for me is that I'm lowering it and then it just keeps like automatically popping back up. We're trying to just get so there's no feedback from these cross streams here, since we're live streaming on Instagram as well here.
Yeah,
which is super cool.
So maybe better now? No?
Yeah, a little bit better, I think.
Better. Okay.
Cool. Okay, so maybe you could go ahead and, well, you know what? First off, I do want to say too that we do have a proof of attendance for this, for this space as well, which we'll go ahead and share with you the link to fill out the form, to go ahead and get your proof of attendance for this. So what you'll do is fill out your universal profile address in here, and we'll go ahead and send it to you, to show that you are part of this conversation too. For SLEEK, maybe you could go ahead and tell us what was SLEEK initially setting out to do, and how has that evolved, and what is the vision that you see for SLEEK now?
Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty easy. One of my friends started SLEEK 2002. He was a C-level manager at a big company, and I think he sold the part of the company he was responsible for. And with that money he started a magazine in 2002. and he started a magazine which was between fashion and art. It was very artistic, actually. It was not a magazine. Of course, it was a magazine, but it was more like an exhibition in a museum. The whole thing, and I knew it right from the beginning. This project, and it was very innovative. It was very creative, and. But there was a lack of commercial in it, so it was very difficult to make any money of it. So then there was a big crisis, I think in 2008 or so, Lehman Brothers, where ad budgets went dramatically down, and at that point, I had the chance to took over the magazine, and of course, in the first years, I focused completely on revenue streams, so advertising, because it was my background. I knew a lot of people in that business, and so we did a lot of, let's say, we call it corporations, which means we did a lot of editorial stories, which financed in this difficult times really the magazine. Yeah, but at a certain point, and I had a couple of editors working for me from different kind of countries, different kind of backgrounds. But what I realized, I think, with the pandemic, with Corona, was that every independent magazine, and SLEEK is a truly independent company, magazine, you need really a person who stands for it, and a person who is not an employee, who really is the owner of it. This is success of every independent magazine. And during the pandemic, I decided to move more in the foreground, and I took over more or less the role of the editor-in-chief, which is not quite fair, because I have some people who are doing all this stuff, that every issue will really look properly. But I'm doing more and more since that, and what we also did, we changed a little bit the focus, starting from art and fashion at the beginning, then lifestyle. We have now a clear focus, and the clear focus of SLEEK is creativity. Yeah, because we strongly believe that with creativity, human beings can solve every issue which is on planet. Yeah, because creativity, the reaction of creativity are in innovations, and we need innovations everywhere. And this is basically the tagline. SLEEK stands for creativity, which leads to innovations. What means that we can tell many stories. So the variety is from A to Z. It's not only fashion and art anymore. Yes, there are great stories about that. But I mean, one of my highlights was in the summer issue. I did an amazing interview with the Archbishop Georg Genswein, who was the right hand of the Pope for 20 years. And it was an amazing conversation, because we did an interview about immersion. And I mean, he had so many things to tell about it. So SLEEK is now very bright, and it's all about creativity. Yeah.
Fantastic. So knowing that now, what inspired you to personally take the leap into Web3 or the blockchain world?
We are not only would like to inspire people for innovations. I'm also interested in innovations. For example, I was one of the test users, and you may not know this anymore, of AOL in Europe, in Germany. You know AOL? America Online? It was one of the first internet services. And I was, I think, 1902, one of the test users here in Europe for them. So I was always in technology. I was always interested in new things. And to be honest, we already started Web3 3 years ago with a metaverse site. Because at that time, especially in the pandemic times, I thought this might be an idea to realize also events, because we did many events and still doing a lot of events, and there was a possibility to do this online. But it was not a disaster, but nobody really was interested in this metaverse stuff. So, but we are right now still very dependent on the big networks, which means big platforms. Meta with Instagram and Facebook, Google, and Apple when it comes to podcasts and apps, and so we are not really independent. And with Web 3.0, there is the big chance to get much more independence, because it's decentralized, yeah. And that was the chance. And I think we will now talk a little bit deeper about it. But the most important thing for us is to get more independence. Yeah.
Yeah, I know from a personal perspective, as an artist too, like when I think of independence, I think of freedom. And that is really where creativity feels like it can live and can flow. And when you say this, it's like, oh, right, this is like a natural kind of progression of our evolution for creativity is finding more ways and outlets where creativity can be free and evolve and flow as well. Which is fantastic, which is really cool.
100%.
Yeah. So how do you see this role of the cultural platform evolving, where this identity and ownership and decentralization take place? Like what are some of the outcomes that you can see from it for SLEEK? Or maybe a better way to phrase this is like, how can something like universal profiles, where we have this decentralized identity and place where artists can really live, and own that, like, how does this help SLEEK evolve?
First, we are working on it right now. So for us, it's we're testing how storytelling will work in this new on this new platform, which is quite interesting, because it's differently. Then we have a huge community. Yeah. When we do, for example, here parties for Fashion Week in Berlin, we have more than 1,500 guests easily coming to our events, and we have a huge database for our newsletter, and we have roughly about 7 million people on social media every month, and So we have a huge community, but we do not have a real connection. So the most important idea behind going to Web3 is actually to establish somehow a membership program. A membership program where we can play, where we can have gamification with the people, where we can give gifts to them, where we can actually speak with other creatives we know very good, and and they can offer artworks, music, or we can offer special parts of stories. So this is basically what we are now trying, and we are trying this on in a free and independent world, actually. Does it make sense? I could not hear you. Yet? No,
Yeah.
no.
The way I really see this is that it also brings the opportunity for kind of like deepening this idea of community in ways like the ownership of universal profiles and decentralized identities and assets really allows us to deepen and strengthen our connections with our communities in new ways. Um, and I think that in combination with like that in itself begets a new form of storytelling, right? Because we have another way to relate to each other on top of something that's super authentic and a new way for artists to tell their stories and a new platform for us to have storytelling with as well. So it's kind of like it's like unfolding a lot of different new pathways if we want to look at it from that perspective as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you a good example. Because we started it a few weeks ago on Universal Profile, and we have an art space here at SLEEK, and we now have every second month an exhibition here with sometimes very famous artists, sometimes with young talents from Berlin. Now, for example, what you see behind me, Hannah Sophie Dunkelberg, she is a young but very promising artist here from Berlin, but also with international galleries. And we have an exhibition here, I think, with 15, 16 artworks. And we had one which was not possible to place on the walls, one artwork. And then we had the idea, oh, we have now this blockchain activity. Let's put this artwork exclusively on our profile, on our Universal Profile, and try to sell it, of course, with together with an NFT of that artwork. Yeah, but on top of it, the potential buyer will get also a dinner with the artist and myself when he's buying it. So that was our first example, and we get many. It's not sold right now, but we got many mails and people were interested in buying that. Maybe because of the dinner with the artist, but we see that there's a lot of interaction on the platform. Yeah.
Great, which is fantastic. And this is just one way that we're able to see artists and creators starting to use profiles and create new assets and tokens as well, and be able to further express themselves. I mean, I love the idea of being able to see what SLEEK artists get excited about, and you know, individually the ideas that they come up with too, and they see that, oh, they have this really cool thing with the grid, which is a cool new place for them to showcase their work as a portfolio. But then they have this opportunity for these NFTs or digital certificates as well for their artwork as a whole new outlet too, and kind of being able to let them take their work and their underlining intentions for their work and like evolve that into how they can find more meaning through that with their fans or people interested, like you mentioned with the dinners and things as well. So letting the creatives, letting the artists like take their creativity with this too, and find new meaning with it, I find exciting.
100%. And tell you, it's for artists. It's especially for artists. It's very tough times. So it's not so easy to sell artworks. I mean, the top market with the blue chip, the old Andy Warhols and so. I mean, they work with these super big galleries around the world, but every below that, they have huge problems. I mean, sales of art drops down to up to 50%. It's very difficult, and the model of galleries are under question mark, and with Universal Profiles, with LUKSO, there's a huge potential actually to open up a new sales channel for it. Yeah, because indeed you not only can showcase your pieces to your community and fans and however you call that. Of course, you also have a certificate of the original of that, which is amazing actually, and you see what's going on with the artworks when it goes from a different kind of stages. But you can also add on special things. Yeah, you have much more flexibility and it's this kind of freedom. So I think for every artist, and artist means also musicians, everybody, it's an amazing opportunity actually, because it opens up completely new chances for them.
Yeah, which is fantastic. And I know that SLEEK has historically come from an editorial magazine background, and the idea of the grid and having its own profile really helps to take it to the new place of just being an overall platform while you have these different outlets and different, it becomes a bigger experience for people, right? They can choose to go over here and find this information over here, or go over here and interact with this information over here. But maybe that's something that you can speak to with, in terms of like your vision for the new kinds of experiences that you want to bring to people, with getting into Web3 with universal profiles, but in general too, just moving away from the typical magazine platform into a bigger experience for everyone, and a bigger community, a bigger audience, I guess.
100%, and I mean there is much more exchange. I mean, and where is the exchange nowadays? With print, they can send me a letter, a letter, or feedback, or a WhatsApp sometimes, but it's tough because you're in a different situation when you read that magazine. Yeah? With the website, same. Also not easy. Of course, you can send me an email about an article. Yeah, but with social media, it's a little bit easier. Yeah, but we all know the bad part of social media. I mean, all the shit storms and because it's not your real character. You can use different names, and you can behave sometimes like a pig on social media. But with universal profiles, you have much better chances because you see everything. You see the web page, you see the social media streams. You have you can quickly interact. You can quickly buy something or sell something, because you have wallets. It's a little bit like in the past where you went to the butcher to buy the milk somewhere else, and the bread, and now with Universal Provide, it's a little bit like a super grocery shop or supermarket where you get all the great products which you need for food. Yeah.
Yeah, the visual that just came to me when you said grocery store was actually this Meow Wolf exhibit. I don't know if you're familiar with it or if anyone in the office or in the audience is familiar with it, but Meow Wolf is a big art experience space. I think there's 2 locations in the US, but part of it is like this is actually like they created an art exhibit that's a grocery store, and that just came to my mind with that as like this multifaceted like new place for all these different yummy things that can satisfy all different types of appetites as well for the multitudes of creativity and different types of artists as well.
Yeah.
Which is cool. And the ability to engage in so many different ways now, I think, is really hitting like the future generations as well, right? It's just a smart plan in terms of growth strategy, but just really speaks to understanding the future of how we're evolving and the future generations, as well as how they're looking at things and how they want to be interacting with things and multiple things at once, and having different options as well, which is super cool. So let's see here. Maybe what we can do is get a little bit of is there anything up and coming that you're personally super excited about? I mean, I know there's a lot of events going on. You're a mastermind of events and bringing people together as well. Can you give us a little like juicy information of some cool things that you're looking forward to in the future that we have up and coming? Where I know we're in December, we're starting to close out the year, and we're starting to look ahead for 2026. So kind of thinking ahead, are there any like cool initiatives or cool exhibits or anything that you can give us a little taste for what's to come?
Yeah, of course. So you know, we are in Berlin, and the year in Berlin starts always with Fashion Week. So end of January we have Berlin Fashion Week here, and we will do the opening party for Fashion Week, and therefore we will use hopefully the first tokens for our new members, and they get a much easier entrance at the door than the normal visitor of our party. This party will be I think on the 30th of January or so. It's a Friday night, and it will be at Borchardt restaurant, which is one of the most famous restaurants and places here in Berlin. Then in Feb we will have an amazing exhibition here in our SLEEK art space. We convinced world famous photographer Michel Comte. He's a Swiss guy, absolute superstar in the 80s and 90s in photography. Actually, I had the chance to work with him in the good old advertising times. We convinced him to exhibit here with us, and this will start on, I think, on the 10th of Feb for 2.5 months. His amazing works, and if you look to the pictures, you say, "Oh, yeah, I know this picture. Oh, yes, I know this picture." He shot Carla Bruni, every big supermodel at that time, and animals in Africa. So amazing. It will be amazing exhibition. I think it will be, from the name, the biggest exhibition we did so far. Of course, we have some ideas what we can do with Universal Profiles. I think maybe you will get a goodie if you attend. Maybe there will be a special collection which you can only buy there. So we follow us, and you will you will see what we have in the pipeline for that. Then there will be Berlinale. We're working also on some ideas for Berlinale. For next year, we also will have a new event, 2 new event series actually. One will be SLEEK Cinema Club, where we will have show new movies or new parts of big series with the cast of that movie. With an exclusive, we will showcase the film. Of course, you can look to the film. It will be a premiere, but also we will have a party with all the cast, but very exclusive, only for 100, 150 people maximum. Yeah, at Soho House, we'll have this, I think, 4 times a year. Also with some benefits for people who are member on Universal Profile. And we will also start, I think, in March, SLEEK Book Club, which means that we have a very deep conversation with famous writers, authors about the book, but also about their life. And we'll do this at least also 2 times, maybe 4 times a year, where we invite also our community to visit us. This will start in Berlin, but this could be also in other big cities here in Germany. So, and this combined with, again, SLEEK Creative Impact Dinners and So then we have our normal magazine to do 4 times a year. So there is a lot in the pipeline for next year.
Yeah, and I know we're super excited about all of these things too, and we're in talks of how this exhibit's going to come up with Michel Comte as well, which is super exciting. So if you know, when I think of like, what does success look like for this upcoming partnership? I think about it in a way that I'm trying to put a metric to, because it's ultimately like, it means deepening connection with the audience. But is there something for you in particular, like when you think of, okay, this is what a successful partnership looks like for us, for SLEEK? What is that? What do you see that as?
It's a good question. Firstly, what is very important, and now again my older age comes on the platform here, is it has to be fun to work with people. Yeah, you have to somehow like with the counterparts, and right now I really appreciate our cooperation, I must say. So we have ideas. We throw our ideas on the table, and then there are technical implications from your side, and it's everything is so quick, so fast, and very fruitful conversation. So firstly, my gut feeling is very good about this cooperation, which is very important. I worked with some shitty people in the past in my career, and it's always good to have good people around you. Yeah, when it comes to success, yeah, of course, it would be amazing if we can build up a huge community, a very interactive community, that we can kickstart many new initiatives, maybe new products, maybe new, I don't know what. So to be very honest, I have not really KPIs in my mind. We are trying that out. I'm very convinced that we are on the right track. I'm very convinced about blockchain, because this is, for the creative industry, absolutely necessary and important, actually, to live further. But hardcore KPIs, I do not have that in my mind, I must say.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Of course, from our side, we want to see the number of profiles go up and engagement go up and more users. That's quite typical and like something that would just be quite standard. But for me personally, like there's something here that I can't quite. I still want to look to articulate in terms of success, because I think it's more like a feeling, like you're saying, this should be fun, but something's going to come of this that I think we weren't expecting. And ultimately, this is a really cool opportunity for experimentation for this, right? And see where this goes and see where this can take us. And so I'm just really excited to see how things unfold and how this really strengthens the SLEEK community. And in terms of the engagement with your audience on various different levels and platforms. And, you know, I personally will be really happy when I see the artists coming to SLEEK being able to engage with the fans in the community in a way that feels really, really fulfilling and going beyond what they could imagine. So they're really coming to SLEEK, to these profiles, and this is becoming much more valuable for them had they not been using a typical just like Web2 or platforms that they were using before. Yeah, and that connection as well. So I know what you mean in terms of like not wanting to define it in KPIs. We will have those will be fantastic, but this feels much, much bigger than that, which is, I think, exciting for both of us too. It just feels like a sandbox of opportunities.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and if we can bring Fabian in, if he wants to say a few words about this as well. Is this something that, can we get him on the stage here? Let's see, guys. And once again, we have a proof of attendance for this LUKSO live conversation as well, and a form that you can fill out to just drop your universal profile into. And we'll go ahead and send that over to you shortly. Thank you all for joining. Yeah, thank you all for joining, and we're excited to be talking with SLEEK. If you're just tuning in more recently, we have Universal Profiles and SLEEK are out on a 1-year partnership, and today we're having a chat with Christian Bracht, who is really running the whole operation over there, who has a fantastic, cool background and really trying to grow SLEEK into something much bigger, has a fantastic vision for this too. And how Universal Profiles is a part of that as well. I know, Christian, that historically SLEEK is a Berlin-based platform, and I really love that profiles actually help, you know, with like, I'll call it Web2 or normcore social media, Instagram and so on, that really helps to bring SLEEK all over the world. But there's something too about Universal Profiles that is bringing it to a whole nother level, where it's not only around the world, but it's like decentralized. It's like a whole nother step or layer above that feeling. So it's almost like going from Germany to international and decentralized, and really creating a bigger powerhouse for this as well, which is super cool. Let's see, if we're able to get Fabian in here. Okay, I think we're working on that. Christian, do you have any continuing thoughts or following thoughts that you'd like to add?
No, but I'm completely agree. It would be amazing. I mean, we have a quite international community. So I just looked today on the figures of the visitors of our website, and they mostly come from America. So the biggest share is the United States. But of course, we are located in Berlin. We do many events here in Berlin, so this is our home turf, of course. Yeah. But what I'm really looking for is this community you have, this crypto blockchain community. We never were close to them, and this is now also a chance actually to communicate with them, to tell interesting stories. For example, in the new issue of SLEEK, which you can buy everywhere in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, we have a story of an artist. It's not an artist actually. It's a student, and it's not a real student. It's an AI student, because some students did an application on an art school in Vienna, but with a virtual student, and he's now got the approval, and he's now studying in Vienna. And he's a real student, and he's a hard-working student because he works 24 hours a day and has many questions, is learning a lot. It's actually an AI agent. And in this issue, we have some of his artworks actually, and we may do an exhibition with this virtual student in May here in our SLEEK art space. So this is actually very cool, and another interesting example for creativity in the digital world, actually. Yeah, I couldn't find it right now. It's a very cool story. It will come also on Universal Profile quite soon, but yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Here you see.
Super cool. Oh, wow. Super cool. Very cool. And I know you guys are working on also an LLM where, you're using technology to bring the experience to people if they're looking for an exhibit and another place to find, like, go after hours, if you want to touch on that a little bit as well, for people to see where they can also find and understand, like, the SLEEK experience, if you will, bringing that to another level.
Yeah. There's Fabian. Hey, hello.
Hello. I have a little noisy background. I'm also like the biggest head in the biggest head here. Yeah. Thanks for sharing, and I hope you can hear me well. This was a nice little intro into your work, and I mean, the opportunity for us really with the technology is that you guys are the one who have and I hope you can hear me well. Am I breaking off? Am I well understood? Okay, good. And the powerful thing is really like that the whole idea of Universal Profiles is to give normal people access to this Web3 technology and move things beyond just the final idea or the final finance aspect and the finance ideas that we have in crypto, but like saying, okay, this can be actually a tool for community. This can be a tool to connect people. And what's different to the Web2 world is you can now connect people across platforms, across ecosystems, across projects and companies. An NFT, when you get a proof of attendance or you get a membership or you get a SLEEK token or whatever you get, this is things that on the end can be also accessed and used by another third party that could say, okay, now I get you into my events if you have these other things from these other people. And this kind of this composability that we call it is really something that's that couldn't be done before, right? Like, you need to have these things independently of a platform in order to really like create this kind of new form of community connection that tokenization allows. And I mean, for me, it's super exciting to play around. Obviously, there's a few more base tools we need to build, which you're on the way to do so. But then, down the road, it will get seamless. And there's one other aspect of universal profiles. We're pushing now also making it cross-chain available. That means your profile will not only be able to hold things on LUKSO and interact with LUKSO, but also be able to interact with all the existing networks. And that basically makes a universal profile like your perfect gateway into crypto. And now bringing in a user that not just comes with a wallet, but that he himself probably doesn't really care much about, but he comes with his identity, with a identity. And that really also will hopefully help the rest of the ecosystem to move more towards culture and a little bit more away from the whole finance aspect, because the rest of the world we don't get in with finance, we get them in with culture and interesting things. So that's what I'm excited about seeing happening, and that's why the SLEEK partnership is the ideal partnership.
Yes, fully agree.
Very cool. Thanks, Fabs. And thank you, Christian. I think we're about time to wrap up, and yeah, I'm just super excited for what's to come for all of this. And like I said, for anyone who's joining in, we do have a proof of attendance. You can see on the screen right here on the live stream for this conversation. Thank you so much, Christian. It's been great getting to know you a little bit more and talking here to the community about SLEEK and the next evolution for SLEEK and how profiles will be involved for that. Do you have any last final words or remarks?
Stay creative. This is very important. Stay creative.
Fantastic. Love that. That's perfect. Thank you so much. And for those of you too, I believe, stay tuned for next week. We'll be talking a little bit more about the cross-chain profiles that Fabian has just kind of touched on as well. So just keep an eye on our socials for an upcoming AMA as well. And thank you all for tuning in. This has been a really great time. Thank you, Christian, and thank you, Fabian. Really excited for what's to come in 2026.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.